Okay. Yeah, we're live. We did it.
All right.
All right. Yeah, we're officially. Okay. Let's get started. All right, guys. Welcome back to the Crypto Effect, episode 16, May 20th. 2 days. 2 days after the crash.
Yeah,
Officially.
about 2 days.
Yeah.
About two, just about. Yep.
All right. So 2 days after Bitcoin crashes from not really all-time highs, I guess. Let me move back over here. We're gonna talk about Bitcoin right off the bat because obviously it's the biggest topic to be talked about right now. Anything altcoin related, it's almost kind of not pointless to talk about, but everything is following Bitcoin's footsteps. So whatever Bitcoin does, every single altcoin is doing just about, except for some of the meme tokens that we'll be talking about. But so talking about Bitcoin on officially, I guess maybe May. Let's see, what was that? I mean, the crash really started on May. What is that? 12. I mean, if we look at it like at the charts that we're looking at now, actually, let me get the big chart out, guys. Hold on 1 second here. All right. All right. So looking at the charts, you can see here. If we dial it back a little bit, this was my pitchfork chart, and that I talked about that. I like following this for long-term trends. But you can see where Tesla bought over here back February. Is that right? February 8th. You can see it was actually 64 days from when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So Tesla bought, we went in this uptrend. We were following this line really nicely. As long as we stayed above it, we were doing really well. And we had this dip right here where we came below the trend line. Now, obviously, that's a little bit of a bear trap or a signal that, things are no longer trending. So we came back above it, which was promising, but we never got above the all-time highs again. So we stagnated off the 59 level, following the trend line. We need to stay above this as much as possible. And you can see right here on May 12th, we fell well below it. And then continuing on, we fell off of the pitchfork, which was the direct signal of a significant drop happening, which is exactly what happened. As soon as we dropped off of that, we got the crash here on May 19th.
We got as far down as 27.5, right? Is that where it was?
It got down. Let's see here. I didn't actually even mark
no.
it, but yeah, we're here. Yeah, around the 20. I think it got down to 29.8.
Okay.
So got pretty low. That was probably someone who just got really lucky on a buy right there. But yeah, it came down, obviously came back up, created a little bit of a support line here. Not doing very well on markings, but yeah, made a little bit of a support line there at 35. And since then, trending upwards between 40, 41, I guess, and the 38, 39 level. So we've been trending in that direction for the last day. And no real indicator of whether or not Bitcoin's going to continue a rally, or if we're going to go into a bear market. And looking at this, and I hate to say it, people don't like to say it, but it feels a little bit like a bear market. But we are in areas that we haven't really seen before. Because if we go back to the last bull run, we were running for 246 days back in 2017. And then there was this one right here. This bull run here actually lasted 61 days, maybe a little bit longer than that. But yeah, around 61 days. And then you can see we did not create a new high here. This is the signal I was mentioning earlier, where this kind of feels around what we're seeing now. We did not get the new highs. We dropped back down here from a period of about 2 weeks after we hit the all-time highs. We did not create new highs, and then from that period, about 17 days after that, was a little bit of the bear signal, and then we went into a little bit of a bear market after that, lasting 223 days. So, was talking about this earlier before this really big instrument here, but that was mainly due to the pandemic. But yeah, you got 223 days of a little bit of a bearish market. So, this was back in 2017, 2018, up into 2020. And that's where I was signaling, well, kind of what I feel like what we're seeing a little bit of here. Same little bit of the same scenario. So I'm optimistic, but definitely keeping my eyes on the trends that are happening. I feel like, I'm not buying a lot into this market. I'm probably more trading this market than I am buying into it. Which Warble, I was mentioning to you earlier. This is kind of where I get my trading into. This is where I start trading the market, because you just don't know at this point where things are going to support at.
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of people got liquidated when they I can't remember what the number was, but it was I think the market had lost something like $400 billion in the last couple days. So that just goes to show you that there was tons of liquidation, and I mean, I think at the end of the day, you've got people. I think you have a lot of panic selling. I mean, which kind of led to this. But if you've been in the space long enough, you know that there's these corrections. I mean, I think that's really all it is. It's just a correction. I mean, the where we came from, if you look back at the last bull run, I mean, it looks like a blip on the map,
Oh yeah,
literally.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's why it's so hard to really tell where we're going to be at, because back here during that's nothing. That was the littlest bit of money. I mean, that was mainly being funded by
it's mostly
non-institutional
just
money.
retail.
Huh?
Yeah, it was just mostly just retail investment.
Yeah, mostly retail. So now you've got this mix of retail and institutional, because now institutions know and understand, and there's so many more exchanges. The money to get the money on the exchanges is so much easier. To get it into people's hands is so much easier. Everyone's talking about. There's just so much more out there, and people know that it's a way to make money, and people don't walk away from ways of making money. So the scenario is different. It's going to be a little bit of the same, but at a larger scale. So we may see this pull back in. You can see it's already kind of getting back into the pitchfork charts. Now, if we can get back in here into the green and the blue areas, you can see that we'll be making our way back up. But we have to create new highs. If we do not create new highs on this second rally here, we're going to see it's just going to push back down even more. So, I'm definitely keeping my eyes open. I don't have any real price predictions on gauging of where I think it'll be over time, because it's just impossible. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of the same trends and things going on from 28-17. But yeah, so keeping my eyes open. I am hopeful. Things are looking good right now. After we had that significant drop, we haven't seen anything big after that. It was the first day and a half. There was that big drop right there, and then it acted like it was going to do it again and then stop. So, we'll see. I don't know. How do you feel? How are you feeling right now?
I don't. It really doesn't phase me that much. I kind of look at it as, I think it was way overbought, first of all. Um, and so it's inevitable that you're going to get the correction that we're getting now. Um, I just think, I think the corrections are healthy. Without these, it's just not going to continue to go straight up.
Right.
There's got to be corrections. So I'm not at all worried about it. I think it's actually welcoming to me because it gives the opportunity to buy these types of deep discounts.
Yeah.
So and the reality is that the guys that have been in the space for, that I've followed for like the last 4 or 5 years, they're still calling 100,000 by the end of the year on Bitcoin. So I think it's a welcoming dip. I think the problem is you've got a lot of people that are now in it that really don't understand anything about volatility or the markets,
Yeah.
and they're finding that this is, they're just thinking it's going to continue to go up, which is never going to happen. There's going to be dips, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. It is a welcoming dip, especially if you bought it here. You know what I mean? And that takes a
yeah,
lot of confidence. It takes confidence in knowing and understanding that this isn't going to zero, right? It's going to come back to wherever it was at some point in time. Now, you may, if you bought high, you're going to probably have to hang on to it for a longer period of time to get any profit back. But if you continuously buy in, even when it drops down, you're not in a bad position. So
well,
and
and
that
it also depends a lot on it depends a lot on your what your ultimate goal is, right?
right,
I mean, are you in it for the long term? Especially when you talk about something like Bitcoin, is the ultimate goal to hold on to it for the next 10 years? And if that's the case, then, that this really shouldn't matter. If anything, this should be good because, you're getting it at a discount. Imagine right now if, people that are dollar cost averaging are thinking that they're looking to buy in at, imagine 70,000, versus where it is now at what, 42 or 43,000. Dollar cost averaging strategies really should be pretty happy right now, because when you average that out, you're talking that you're all of a sudden your buys are averaging around what, 50,000, 55,000 if you dollar cost average.
yeah,
So I think it's a good thing for people that are long term holders. And when we're talking about Bitcoin, that's probably the case. When you start talking about some of the other coins and the alts that are out there, maybe exclusive of Ethereum, maybe that's not so much the case, but because you're trying to turn those for quick profits. But again, I think the whole entire market will come back. But when it comes back, it may be September, October. It could be it could be another 4 or 5 months before it actually returns to somewhere near where it was.
right.
But yeah, it's typical correction.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we've said many times, dollar cost averaging is by far the best strategy if you're not a trader strategy. If you don't have a trading strategy, you don't know when to get in, when to get out. Every time you see a more than a 10% dip, just buy a little bit. And if you do that over a long period of time, you really won't lose.
Right. Exactly. That's my point. Especially with Bitcoin, and again, I'm not talking about all altcoins here. I'm talking about Bitcoin specifically in this particular case.
Right. Right. But everything
Because the
right now,
conviction, yeah, yeah.
we've definitely, I don't know if altcoin season is going to be coming back around in the next few months, because right now everything is following Bitcoin. Bitcoin is telling us what the market's going to do. I mean, you can just go down here, like I was showing you earlier. You can just come down here and look at cake. Look, I mean, I don't know if I'm looking at Bitcoin chart or cake chart at this point. Everything's following what Bitcoin is doing. So, we do need to see what is happening with Bitcoin before we really dive into a lot of altcoins. Unless Bitcoin is rallying, then obviously altcoins are probably some good jumps to get into. But one of the stranger things that we were going to talk about was what meme coins are doing during this time.
Yeah, meme coins. I know we've talked about this a few times, but it just it is kind of funny because these meme coins like Australian Safe Shepherd, Kishu Inu, FEG, Richie, some of the coins that I've been following more or less for fun,
Yeah.
more than I have to really turn a profit. But I've actually been more interested in them for the exposure that there seem to be getting from from bigger investor, people that have actually, have somewhat of a celebrity status.
Yeah.
One coin that I'm not a big fan of actually, but um, you saw this, Brad, where Dave Portnoy was basically I think he had like 6 or 7 hats on a table, and he was like, you know, he's like, I need to pick a side. He's like, I need to pick a side, and I'm going to pick a side for one of these shit coins. And so he ends up, eventually picking Safe Moon, which kind of surprised me a little bit.
Right.
But these coins, for whatever reason, they just seem to be getting a lot of exposure. And to me, I think the one that I'm seeing getting a ton of exposure lately is Australian Safe Shepherd is getting a lot of exposure. The creator of Dogecoin seems to be a big fan of this as well. The funny thing about it is that Australian Safe Shepherd was a fork of SafeMoon, and it seems to be doing pretty well. But it is kind of funny looking at their roadmap. Definitely one of the one of the best roadmaps I think I've seen in a long time. I love it.
We spent countless hours working on these to provide you with a clear direction of where this coin is heading. Legitimate Australian Safe Shepherd white paper to the moon. A car driving to the moon. That's it's a fork of the Safe Moon. Safe Moon was basically what? Nothing. It's just a coin to rally behind an idea, right? I
Yeah,
guess.
so yeah, that's pretty much all it is. And it's got this massive it seems to have a cult following.
Okay, so
But
what does this why a cult follow? Is it just because, hey, load up all your money? Some of us are going to get rich.
for the most part, yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those things where, the creators of some of these meme coins are phenomenal marketers.
Yeah,
They have a really good way to suck in the community, and you see that hands down with things like Australian Safe Shepherd. um FEG is another one that I can think of. Kishu Inu is another one that I can think of. These guys, Kishu, recently had billboards in New York City,
mm-hmm.
and they're mentioning that they're going to have a major marketing push in California. And if you just look at some of the followers on things like on FEG, even, I mean, it's amazing to me.
So Kishu
Um,
Inu launched in May. Well, actually, that's not accurate. Hold on one second. Launched in April. Came out at so many zeros that it's not even showing up on the chart, and then rose up to what looks to be okay. So 1,600%. Actually, that's a 30-day. I think it's more than that. Is it more than that? Or no? Okay, no, it's okay. So 1,600%. In the last 14 days, 1,400% of that came from that. Now, you were actually part of that market that was able to rally behind Kishu Inu before it took off.
yeah, I think I want to say I picked it up right toward the bottom of that very first um, you know rise.
Yeah, it was down here. It's not where it's at now. It's way down here. Um, so yeah, you got to be able to ride that train. I remember you told me about it, and you told me I should get in it. The only reason I didn't get in it was because of the Ethereum gas prices, which still pisses me off that I can't trade on Ethereum because I don't want to pay $100 for a $500 investment.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw somebody the other day. I think it was Meltem Demers, had posted something on Twitter, that she was, she wanted to make a move on something. I believe it was like Uniswap, possibly, and she had screenshotted her gas fee, and I want to say it was close to $1,000.
Yeah, yeah. So that, and I'd be hopping in, and I don't see how a lot of people are even hopping into these trades with the gas prices the way they are. But obviously, somebody's over here trading millions of dollars to bet on them. Now, after we've had these rises like this, we've really steadied off, coming back down probably at least 1,000%. So, um, are we going to see it again? Is this a one-time thing?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's tough to say. I don't think, I don't, I kind of think Kishu Inu, I think is headed for. I do think we're gonna see it go above its previous all-time high eventually. Um, it's they've got such a large marketing push,
Yeah,
and their community just keeps growing and growing. Because it really kind of reminds me a lot of what Doge was,
right.
in the early days.
And see,
So I,
I used to
I
buy
see that
into
going
these.
by.
I bought into all these memes before they became popular, and I kept getting out because everyone was saying how stupid it is to hold it. Which now, obviously now I'm like, okay, well, I'm the stupid one for getting out, right? Uh, and now they're just like, it's more popular to get in non-fundamentals than it is to get into the fundamentals.
Well, I think the thing you have with meme coins that you really don't have with some of the blue chips, which I shouldn't say that. You do have it with the blue chips, but I think the thing with these meme coins is you have they may not have a fundamental analysis argument, really.
Right.
Um, but I think what they do have is they have, again, it goes back to that cult following that, hey, I'm part of this community, even though this coin really doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It sort of is just, I hold this coin because I want to be part of this community, and I see that a lot with Australian Safe Shepard lately.
Yeah.
It's like the coin is it's the epitome of a meme coin. To be honest,
So really, I mean,
yeah.
what runs the markets right now is community. Find a token with a medium market cap, with a lot of Twitter followers, a cool website, and a huge Telegram community. And as long as it hasn't pumped, the potential of it pumping is going to be pretty high. Um,
Yep.
and that's I don't know how long that's going to last. I guess that's the risk of it, but that's really what you need to look for, and you could be jumping on these highs. I mean, just looking at the website, they do have a pretty cool website. Little Mean Big Dream, everyone loves the Kishu. And you were telling me the other day that just for holding this, you actually get rewards back, right? You get like
You
2%.
do, yeah. You get what's called a tax. So for every single transaction that happens, whether somebody buys or sells, you're actually getting a percentage for holding it. So you don't have to stake it anywhere. You don't have to put it in a pool. You don't have to do any sort of or run the risk of impermanent loss. You just hold it in your wallet, and as part of being a holder, you're receiving you're receiving rewards for that.
All right. Yeah. So I actually got a little bit of this just to see what the returns on it looked like. And they weren't that bad. Out of everything that I was holding, I think these were going down the least, which was really surprising. So I hold FEG, Feed the Gorilla, Feed Every Gorilla. Are they actually feeding gorillas? Is that what this is about? Feeding the gorillas?
Yeah, so I think a part of their profit, or part of their what they get back from fees and tax and stuff like that. I think that they put that toward charities that actually go toward doing just that.
Yeah.
Feeding gorillas, whether that's in like certain parts of the world, like there's charities and funds for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, But the thing that I find interesting about these guys is the fact that it's more than they're actually on track for to have a decentralized exchange. So they have quite a utility that they're building within their community. It's not just, hey, hold on to our coin because you're going to get rewards for holding on to it. It's not just that. They actually have a viable product roadmap that they're looking at. So I think this is a really interesting project, and in the ones that I've seen with their followings, Australian Safe Shepard has a big following, Kishu Inu, but Feed the Gorillas, actually, FEG has probably one of the biggest followings I've seen.
Huh. Well, so far my what I've put into it has stayed pretty steady. But yeah, FEG, Australian Safe Shepherd, Kishu Inu, and then we found another one the other day. We haven't really got into it, but I actually just found it kind of fun. That was a Richie Rich. They have a really Richie Rich. They have a pretty cool platform. I may play the song. How about? Oh my god, that's loud, dude. Yeah. So, anyways, we found this one the other day. Richie, Get Richie. I don't know. Have you looked into Get Richie? What do you think about this one?
This is another one where it's kind of like I'm not sure. I'm on the fence. I sort of think that they have a really cool website.
Yeah.
And but again, I'm on the fence with this one. I feel like it's kind of like it is a cool. It seems like a cool community.
Yeah.
But the thing about this one is, I think it feels to me like they're masking. It feels to me like they're just throwing like a really cool code on it so that people are interested. I don't know. I have yet to really. I don't have a ton of conviction on this project.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing.
Well, they say they're they have a charity, a frictionless farming, and they're coming out with NFT. So we'll see what how much of this is actually going to get done, or if it's just another one of those. We'll see if it's a rug. Like you said, I haven't actually done a lot of digging it, but I thought it was just a cool. What they've done with their marketing has been really cool, but it doesn't have a dog on it. So,
yeah,
that's a problem. I mean, if just looking at what came out on Cointelegraph, crypto doggies, how Doggy is taking lead in crypto. Now, doggies was on Bakery Swap, and Bakery Swap being a big platform, or Dex on the Binance. And I'm in doggies. I don't know. They talk about it being very expensive, but they're wanting to get to $1. But they're talking about how doggies is basically the reason for a lot of these cryptos running like they are. And maybe that is, the whole thing. If it doesn't have a doggy, it's not going to do very well as a meme.
Oh, and I mean, the interesting thing about this entire move as of late, when it comes to, you see all these coins that really are kind of, they have dogs on them. It's like Doge. I mean, back in the day, the price of Doge was extremely cheap, right? And everybody would always say, well, that this coin it's a meme. The price on it's never really going to go anywhere. But that sure in the heck doesn't seem like that's how it's played out, right?
Right.
I mean, what was the all-time high in Doge? Like 70 cents or something like that?
74 cents, I think. Yeah.
So if you think about it, any one of these, will they get to the price of Doge? Probably not. Will they get to a fraction of that price? There's a really good chance. So, when it comes to these meme coins, I mean, so many times in the past, people kind of wrote Doge off, and a lot of people still do. They just say it's just still a meme coin. But look where it's at now. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
You had crypto kitties, and you still there are crypto kitties still. You can go and still purchase those, and but you're not seeing. I think the only reason you're seeing this whole move toward like dogs specifically, obviously, because of the Doge movement.
Right, and I'm still pissed. I owned like 30 or 40,000 Doge at one point. And it was for like I think I've spent like $100. maybe $150, and I got rid of
Well,
it.
that's the thing. And you kind of look at it this way: is like pick one of these. Yeah,
Yeah,
pick one of these. You have a lot of choices.
yeah.
Throw $100 into them, and in 5 years, who knows? That $100 could again be worth,
Well,
could be worth a
that's
million
pretty much
dollars.
where I'm at, putting $100 in all kinds of stuff. All right, well, let's move on from meme tokens for a little bit. And I was actually just going to show my doggy here where I bought a little bit of it, but it hasn't moved since the whole crash, so that may be a pretty good sign. We'll see. But yeah, talking about Bitcoin, like going back to Bitcoin really quick, and I was just going to show this. This was actually said that this crash was going to happen from an insider saying that at 7 a.m. On the actual night of the crash, that the sell off was going to happen, and it was a purposeful sell off for particular wells. This was all coming from China, by the way, which I think we do know that China does run a lot of manipulation of the markets. And this was a discussion, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this, but this was a discussion that they had with that person who was saying that directly after there was going to be two significant drops, and directly after the Bitcoin was going to become rallying back up. Basically, is what it's saying. So do not fear, Bitcoin will be back. But I thought that was really interesting because that was actually posted the day before it happened. And he actually nailed the number. He says it's going to drop to 30,000, possibly 29. And then it can't, and then it's going to come back up. And he says, if we're unable to liquidate a particular person, and he's actually talking about one individual or a company maybe. And he says if we're not able to liquidate this particular individual, you will see a second drop that will be slightly lower than the 29 level. So that's a pretty interesting read. It came from a Jacob Canfield on Twitter, but anyways, I thought that was particularly interesting about the Bitcoin drop. So we'll see what actually happens about it. He says that over the next few weeks, Bitcoin will rally back to its original price. Let's see if that actually happens. So, you want to say something about
that? No, I was just saying that's a very interesting call for sure.
Yeah, it was an interesting call. Very much an interesting call. So yeah, going on. So Bunny got hacked. Which this was actually really unfortunate because I actually had Bunny in a pool at this time, and Bunny basically going from like $400. Now everyone expects a little bit of a crash with everything, but Bunny went from $400 down to like $3 or $4.
Yeah, I remember seeing you post. I think last night in Discord. I think you're like, guys, what is this all about?
Oh man, I was mad because I saw my my Bunny. Yeah, that's not $55 in there. Okay, that's not $55, and this is not $15 in BNB. That's more like $100 or something like that. And then this Bunny should be like, I don't know, a lot more. Let me just say that. But with all that, they did put out a going forward plan. They are going to come out. They talk about the exploit, and they're going to come out with some sort of operation that's going to return the value at the time of the crash back to their investors. So it looks like they're going to come out with a new token, P Bunny, and then at the time of the crash, when all this started, they're going to return that value back into your wallet or your pool or whatever it is that you're at the time of the holdings. So good on them. I was a little concerned that this was just an inside job. This was over. Money's gone. And that's the scary thing about these pools. You kind of lose control.
Yeah, you definitely do. It goes back to that old saying, not your keys, not your coins.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, as soon as you add anything to a DeFi platform, specifically a pool or something like this, of course, you don't have control of those. Your coins are now in a smart contract. So your coins are only as safe as that smart contract is. I do think it's important to mention though, because there was a lot of misconceptions about this. I remember since this morning all the way through most of the day, I kind of followed it. Um, and it started out that there was a lot of headlines and a lot of news stories saying, that Pancake Bunny had gotten hacked, and that people's funds were. I even saw a post that they were saying people's funds were at risk, and all this garbage. The reality is, Pancake Bunny's platform didn't get hacked. Their smart contract didn't get hacked. It was an exploit. It was an exploit of. In fact, the exploit was pretty common, and it's happened with other platforms as well. It was a financial exploit.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to note that, because I still think Pancake Bunny, is a great platform. It's just that, unfortunately, you know, you have people out there that take advantage if they can with flash loans, and that's exactly what happened with this.
Yeah,
I mean, it
it
happened
is.
with Value DeFi as well.
It is unfortunate. Anyone who knows the Bunny platform, they have a lot of pools where you get huge returns on your pooled investment. So if you stake Cake or stake BNB, stake Bunny, a bunch of different pools, their returns were extremely high. Now they've come way down. I mean, this used to be like 280% on the auto compounding Cake pool. So you'd be earning like 180% in Cake, and you'd be earning another 100 and something percent in Bunny. And then you could turn around and then put that Bunny into another pool and start earning on top of that. And so it was just compound on top of compound. And Warble, you made quite a bit of money off of being able to stake on Pancake Bunny. So I mean, it's a great platform. There's like nothing wrong with it except for what just happened over the last 2 days. They've just completely ransacked their platform, and it takes
Yeah,
advantage of this. And these are like huge advantages. Like, it's just unfortunate.
it is. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, because I think a lot of people are getting it confused, is that Bunny can't roll back the chain. They can't roll back the transaction. And I kept seeing a lot of people saying, well, why can't they just roll back the chain? Well, Bunny's not, they don't, that's the thing I wanted people to know. And I'm sure a lot of people that have been in the space realize that Pancake Bunny does not have their own blockchain. They can't roll it back. Unfortunately, they're sitting on top of the Binance Smart Chain. So they have no control over that. And also, this has nothing to do with Pancake Swap. Um, that's another misconception, is that people were saying that, Pancake Swap, that people were blaming Pancake Swap and saying that it had a lot to do with that, but really it had nothing to do with Pancake Swap either. There was
Yeah.
no exploit there. Just, it's just unfortunate. People get these stories and these news articles, and they're just poorly written, and
Yeah.
and it comes back to the project, and it makes people have less faith in the project. But I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Pancake Swap, Pancake Bunny. I think they're all gonna, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a great platform. They did go from 1.2 trillion. They were at like 7.8 trillion dollars in total deposited. Now after the crash, that quickly went from 7 down to 4, and then from 4 down to 2, and just within a couple days.
Yeah.
Now they're at 1.2. We'll see what happens. I hope their going forward plan on restoring faith is good. But we'll see. We'll probably let you know in a couple updates. But yeah, so that happened during the crash as well. And then Pancake also released Hot Cross today. This I was really excited about. I was pumped. I got the LP tokens. I was ready to go. I wanted to get on their IFO for the first time ever. And I missed it by completely just forgetting it was happening, because it happened between 9 and 10 a.m. And you could have got Hot Cross by basically just creating LP tokens out of Cake and BNB, and you would have got
Yeah.
it at 5 cents. So what is it now?
The last I looked, I think it was around 17 cents.
Wow, 17 cents. So an immediate 300% from this morning. That's just wild, bro.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is what makes it really difficult about the IFOs, for me at least, is you have to be during that time frame, and this is the case with a lot of IFOs, and I shouldn't say IFOs, but IDOs in most cases, is that you have to be there when that happens. You can't. They're not reserved for you, so you can't come back later in the day and claim them.
Yeah.
And that makes it really tricky, unless you're sitting there waiting for it to exactly start, which is one of the reasons I didn't get in on that specifically.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't want to throw a lot of capital into it anyways, but yeah, definitely would have been a nice, 300% profit.
Anyways, but this looked like it was a pretty cool platform. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But yeah, I mean, that's another reason to get Pancake is because they do these IFOs. They could possibly be easy returns and a great token. Who knows? So I haven't spent a lot of time researching it, but that came out today. Speaking of IDOs and IFOs, let's jump over to JuulPad. So JuulPad came out with their own IDO. Are they calling it IDO? What are they calling it?
Yeah, it's more or less an IDO. Yeah, it's a lot. They're just referring to it as a launch pad. But really, it's an IDO.
So I've never heard any YouTuber, Twitter. I don't hear a lot of people talking about JuulSwap. So JuulSwap was one of those projects that Warble told me about many months ago, and I jumped in it, and boy, did it return huge profits in February. Well, like most tokens at the time, but this one was ginormous. So for holding Joule B, which is what I was holding, you got a lot of Joule D, which got another video on that. You can go check it out. But anyways, it ended up running from point. Actually, it went higher than Dogecoin. Why is no one talking about that?
Yeah, it did actually.
Joule D went from 0.002 cents up to 75 cents in like a week.
Yeah, unfortunately, with just liquidity, I think the problem is, and you and I talked about this before, I think the community expected that they were going to continue to get airdrops every week. They had let's see here. They had, I think, Chum Finance was one that that was recently released. There was another one, Tutti Frutti Finance.
Yeah.
They had one called AFAN, I believe. So they, people, I think their community started to get spoiled, to be honest with you.
Right.
And I think when they didn't get airdrops every single week and they had a small correction, I think that, you started to have people get impatient and they started to sell their tokens.
So I think,
and so yeah, that's what happened in my opinion with JuulSwap.
Yeah, I mean, Joule D, they gave me like $30 in Joule D, $30, and by the time that the token hit its all-time high, it was at 20 grand. This was just an insane. This was just an insane run. You can see here where it went from 002, and then in this from February to not even the end of February, it hit that 75 cents and then immediately coming back down. I unfortunately did not sell until late in the game. But yeah, so who knows what's going to come of Joule D and Joule B. Joule B was at one point, I think I bought it for $20. It's at 52 now, but it actually ran to over $300, 350, something like that. And it's come all the way back down as well. It was way higher than that. I don't know why it's showing. What am I not looking at the whole thing here? They must have.
I think yeah, I want to say maybe the all-time high on it was like 175, somewhere around there.
Yeah, they must be remarketing because they're only showing March. I bought this back in last, like September or October or something like that. But anyways, they had those insane highs too, but they're coming back down. But anyways, they come out their own IDO platform, and now you can, for holding Joule B, Joule D, you can now buy these tokens that they got coming out. This is a lot like what's that, DuckDAO?
Yeah, it's a lot like DuckDAO. There's there's so many now.
Yeah, there's a lot, but basically for holding their particular tokens, you can be an early purchaser of these these new IDOs, and you don't even have to hold it to purchase, but you're buying the excess. So if they sell out, then you're going to be getting the excess. But look at this, like the sell price is 0.085. The trading IDO price is 0.91. So you're barely scraping by on that. That's going to be an instant drop, I think. I'm not too excited about that one, but who knows? Some of these may hit, especially if it's got any worth in it.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that to me is Crypto Tycoon, I'm seeing a lot about that actually on social media, and it's actually it's being passed on by Joel Swap, but for good reason, because it's on their Joel pad.
Yeah.
But it is a gaming platform, which I think is cool. I think there's along with Wall Street Games, it's another one that's coming up. A lot of news about both of those, so those might be kind of neat projects down the line.
Yeah, and we talked about gaming. Gaming has not really, like, the big gaming tokens have not really hit yet, and I think they will, just like the NFT market. So you're right. If one of these gaming ones comes out, there may be some substantial returns on, depending on the game. Like we talked about the crypto prophecies. I think when that comes out, it's not even out yet, and it's already trading at it was trading at 50 cents, 40 something cents. Now it's back down to 20. But that game's not even out yet, and it's already trading pretty high.
So yeah, so go back to Wall Street Games for just a second, Brad, and take a look at the price that they estimate.
Yeah, I mean, First off, you're not even getting it for that much more. You're getting it for, I don't even know. Oh well, here's the other thing. They're trading it against BNB, so that's going to be, obviously that's not going to be like a dollar amount. So that's going to be already hard to accumulate. But yeah, I mean, still, it's going to be in the pennies, or it's not even pennies.
I can tell you right now that Wall Street Games could be a gem, in my opinion.
Well, you click on it and it says coming soon. So they literally don't even have a website.
No, and if their sale price actually hits at that price, you could really be looking at picking up a substantial amount of these. And down the line, that could make triple. That could make triple times on your return. This one may be one that I'm going to pick up.
Crypto Tycoon, you have to get it translated. A gaming platform based on BSC. A group of gamers, crypto enthusiasts run through crypto assets. Don't know what the game is, but Lucky Dice, Golden Dice, they like our dice games. Yield farming, gaming experiences. Like they said, they're in pre-sale right now. A bunch of young gamers, definitely a bunch of youngins. This is concerning. Wall Street Games doesn't really have anything. It's just coming soon. I don't know. These are all risky. Nothing's guaranteed to give you, returns. But I thought it was pretty cool. Jewel Pad coming out with their own IDO, so they are continuing to build on their platform. I'm just really surprised that the price has not recovered from where it was down. You would think with what they're doing, they would be back in here. You know what I mean? And they're not. Not saying that they won't be, but interesting projects going on.
Now might be a good time to pick up both Joel D and Joel B.
Yeah, I mean, if they came back, they went up fast. So who knows? If it's going to happen, it could very well happen very quickly. But yeah, and that was basically all I had for this episode.
Yeah, I looking back through anything that I was going to talk about, I think those were pretty much it for me as well.
Yeah. So meme coins really holding their positions in this downturn with Bitcoin staying steady at 41.6 right now. Ethereum coming back. We didn't even talk about Ethereum, but Ethereum really ran down to like 1900, I think. So if you grab that, oh my god,
Yeah.
instant $1,000 in a day return if you had bought in at least one Ethereum, which I did not get, and I wish I did, but I didn't. I did not grab Ethereum during the drop. But yeah, I mean, coins starting to come back. 2 days after the huge downturn, Elon tweeted out on Doge again, so he shot Doge back up 34 cents, back up to 40 cents. So we've been hanging out there for a while. Even his tweets are they're not quite as effective as I guess they were a month ago. That tweet probably would have sent it into the 60-70 cent range, but it didn't really do it. So I think, to be honest, I think his tweets are going to get less and less effective on the price of Doge. But yeah, we seem to be coming back. Things are looking good. We're at 40% on some of the Solana, all the way back up 41% in the last 24 hours. A lot of these back up 27%, 28%, 60% on ICP. ICP came way down, I think, to like $100.
There is one other coin, I guess, that just came across my radar recently, called Definity. Have you seen this, Brad?
Say that again.
Definity.
Yes, Definity. DYF. DYFNY. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
This I personally really like this project. In fact, this might be one of the first projects that I've actually considered um, replacing some of the things that I'm using right now daily, because this is touting itself as the internet. Basically, it's the internet coin. So
Yeah.
let me get their actual. Let me get their actual ticker. I don't know that's not it. I don't think the one
Uh.
you're on.
This is the one I was talking about. DFYN. This is. I think this is going to be a huge project coming up as well. So they actually dropped down to or $2, maybe even a little bit less than that. But they had a rally not too long ago of over $8. There was an
Yeah, so
IDO on this just not very long ago, but this is another good project. Let's go ahead and show me which one you're talking about.
so the one that I'm talking about, if you go to dfinity.org,
Say it again.
it's dfinity.org.
That's ICP, isn't it? That looks just like. Why does that look like ICP? Are they using the same symbol?
It may be ICP actually. Yeah.
Yeah, ICP is the new internet of sorry, I think it's in the top 10. Yeah, I mean, they were actually talked about on CNBC. They came out with a huge market cap of over like I don't. Well, it's currently sitting at 21. Am I looking at that right? $21 billion.
Yeah, that is. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, so they came out with a market cap of 21 billion. They were actually a little bit higher than that. Just the other day, they were at 300 and something dollars. It's the they're the new internet blockchain, I guess. I really haven't dug a lot into their platform, but
So what caught my attention about these guys is the fact that they're intending to be a full scale, a full stack solution. So not only blockchain applications, but also infrastructure for those blockchain applications. So they're looking to actually replace or be a competitor for a lot of the big cloud computing platforms that are out there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're looking to host traditional web, blockchain, in building a full stack infrastructure for people to develop on top of, which is just, this platform is probably one of the most impressive I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they were talked about on CNBC. They are no joke. They are backed by a lot of huge investors. This isn't no meme token. This is going to be the real deal. They were just sitting at launch. They did launch higher as usual, typical, right? But they were at like $500, $600, just less than a month ago. During that dip, they dropped down to $100, and I'm actually upset I didn't pick any up, but I probably will go ahead and pick it up. You can get it on KuCoin, Binance, Huobi, OKEx. Those are the main ones. But yeah, ICP has been talked about quite a bit. It is going to go higher.
It's going to go a lot higher.
It's going to go a lot higher. It will get back up here to $600 range. So you're looking at a potential 4 to 5x. That's almost going to be guaranteed within the next 2 years. So, I mean, there's really no reason to just hold some if you can grab 2 or 3 of it or whatever. And speaking of cloud-based blockchain, someone brought this to my attention during one of my streams the other day, and that was Kudos. They do the exact same, or not the, I shouldn't say the exact same, but they have a similar platform in blockchain, and I told the girl that brought it to my attention that I'd bring it up on the live here. But they're also a decentralized cloud computing network for everyone. Their price is currently at 3 cents. So you can get it a lot cheaper, but they're doing similar. And I do feel like cloud computing on the blockchain is going to be a big deal once we get there. We're not there yet, so people don't understand the concept. But
well, so here's the thing that I find interesting about that, though. Kudos and ICP, coin projects like that. What I find interesting is the fact that you've got major control by companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and then of course you have middle tier hosting companies as well.
Yeah.
The problem with that is they're all centralized, right? Amazon's got complete control over their entire platform. Microsoft has complete control with Azure of their entire platform. You're sort of at the mercy of that host, right? I mean, however they want to deal with it. Let's say that you have a site. Let's think about some of the censorship things that have happened in the past, 2 or 3 years even. With something like that, you're sort of, if they want to take your project down, they have the right. They're going to take your project down.
Yeah.
But with things like Definity and Kudos, it's difficult, if not impossible, for that to happen.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm really sold on this because I think that that's going to be important down the future because it's not going to be controlled by a company.
Yeah.
Which is what makes me excited about it.
Oh, and it's on Coinbase. I was going to say, I swore I saw this somewhere else because I was going to get it there. It is on Coinbase, so you can get it there as one of the primary platforms for the exchange. So I will be picking up ICP. I do want to see if we get a tiny dip. I'm so angry I didn't grab it at 100. Oh.
Yeah, it is something you should. I think everybody should pick. Even if you pick up one of these, I know that sounds kind of
pointless.
Foolish. I'm gonna only buy one.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking probably 1,000. Like Ethereum, you're probably talking about $1,000 coin over the next 2 years. So, yeah, pick up 10 of them. I will be grabbing some, but like you were saying, I think cloud computing on the blockchain is going to be big once we get there. So a lot of interesting coins, ICP, Kudos, DFYN. You will need to check this out. I do like this project as well. And then we talked about the Definity website. But yeah.
Did you want to mention Sunday Swap?
Oh, shoot. We were going to talk about Sunday Swap. I want to talk about it real quick. We'll just bring it up real quick because we need to end the stream here. Hold on. So coming out on the Cardano blockchain, it is an AMM. Now this is so particular to PancakeSwap, and you know how Pancake came out and it was like $2, to the early investors, and then it went up all the way to 44. And we're going to get back there. I know that Pancake will get back there, but similar to Pancake, but for the ADA Cardano blockchain, the AMM Sunday swap is coming out May 25th, early adoption. Now, all you have to do to get this token is stake your ADA on their platform, and depending on the amount of ADA that you stake, you will get Sunday swap tokens in return.
Yep. This is one of those projects that even if I'm not staking ADA, and again, I think it's worth mentioning to people, be very careful. Yeah, I think Sunday swap is trustworthy, but be very careful. Again, as Brad and I talked about earlier, not your keys, not your coins. Although it's a little different here. You are delegating. So that is the difference. With ADA, you're delegating. You're actually not throwing your coins into a pool. So that is one plus. But even with this, even if I'm not delegating, I think I'm definitely gonna pick some of this up, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, but you can look at the Cardano ecosystem. See the AMM liquidity; they have Sunday swap on there. So this is a talked about coin. This isn't just some random, whatever. They do have a pretty nice following. I think, what did I see on that? They have 42,000 followers on Twitter. So it's one of those things that is like, it's not highly talked about. It's not well known, but it has those legs. It has those potentials to just be. It could be huge, and you could get 500 of this, 200 of these, and then they're going to be $30-$40 in the next year. So I always like grabbing these early ones. Have so much potential. So yeah, you definitely want to just keep an eye on that.
Well, and if we go back and look at the price of Pancake swap when it first came out was pennies.
Yeah.
And look where it is now. Yeah. So it's very, very much the same thing. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, you can go back here and look at Pancake. I mean, look at what early adopters of Pancake got. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
God. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Anyway.
So just think about this for just a second. If you're early with Sunday, there's a very good chance that it ends up turning out to be the same thing in terms of down the road, maybe a year or so. You could be looking at $30-$40.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you probably will be, because it's once ADA really gets going, and they haven't really even got going yet, but when they do, you're going to need an AMM, and it's Sunday could be the one. People love Pancake, so the people who are ADA are probably going to flock to a similar type situation. So yeah, I'm for it. I'm going with it.
And who doesn't love dessert? Right?
I guess it's not as cute as bunnies, but who doesn't love dessert? That's right.
That is true.
All right. Well, that's all I have for this episode. Do you want to end it with anything?
No. I just want to tell people, if you're new to this space, just let the market shake itself out.
Yeah. Yeah, be careful during this time. If you're not used to it or not sure what to do and not a trader, dollar cost average in on dips, not on green candles, but on reds. You'll be okay. And happy trading, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.